Hi, I'm Tony Sinclair, a competitive shooter with Excellent Labs. I've got 5 years experience in the United States Navy and 33 years of law enforcement. I've been trained to shoot everything from a pistol to a Stinger missile, and today we're going to look at cleaning the Smith & Wesson M&P 2.0. Today we're going to look at the parts that we need and the things that we need to clean the Smith & Wesson M&P 2.0. Your basic patches, you got your Q-tips, dental picks. If you have teeth and you go to the dentist, ask the dentist for the broken picks. They usually give them to you. Can't use them for very much. I use a punch for the takedown lever on the inside of the Smith & Wesson. A cleaning brush. I like to use the bore snakes, 9mm for this gun. And today we're going to be using Excellent Labs experimental solvent for cleaning this, the firearm. And for lubrication, we're going to be using Excellent Labs Alpha Sauce today. The gun that we have here, just so everybody knows, there's no magazine in the weapon and nothing in the chamber. If that shows. On the Smith & Wesson, once you lock the slide to the rear, there is a takedown lever on the inside. You can take a simple tool, reach down. The lever has a little bit of yellow paint on it. Once the lever is flipped down, I simply just take my finger, a little bit in the slide, pull back, pull the takedown lever down, and pull the slide from the frame. Separate your mainspring. Separate your recoil spring, not mainspring, barrel, and your slide. First thing I like to do is look at the barrel. Make sure there's no damage or anything on the barrel, and a simple cleaning through the barrel. I do like to use a bore snake, and we'll drop this down through. Always go in from the breech end, not from the muzzle end. And give that a pull through. We'll run that through usually about 5 times. This gun's got about 500 rounds through it since we put the Apex trigger in it, which does work quite well. Once you've got your bore snake through, we're going to look through the barrel, make sure that there's no particulate sitting inside there. And we'll take some of the Q-tips. And we're going to clean the outside of the barrel first, and you'll see basically where the most dirtiest parts are around the breech end. Once you've got your barrel, choose your favorite solvent. Hops number 9 is usually what I use, and we're just going to coat the areas that are the dirtiest. And on the barrel, I'm using a Q-tip for this. You can use a patch. And once you've got everything coated up, just set that to the side, let that sit. Next thing to look at is just your recoil spring. Normally these don't get that dirty, so I just tend to wipe them off. Set that to the side. Next part's going to be the slide. First thing I like to do on a slide is with patches or Q-tips is without putting any solvent on there first, is I like to wipe off as much residue as possible just with a dry Q-tip or a dry patch. A lot of times if you just add too much solvent on there, you're just going to gum things up. And again, this gun's got about 500 rounds to it, so it's not that bad. Yep. And if you've got some patches and a cleaning brush, wrap around your small end of the brush, and you can get down into the smaller parts. Again, you can see with just dry itself with no lubricant on it or anything or solvent, you can usually wipe a lot of the residue off. Get down into the rail grooves. And one of the things I like to also use if you've got dental picks, if you go to the dentist, ask them for the broken tools. They'll usually give them to you because they can't get them repaired. They're done for. Great for scraping the carbon. If you look on the front of the face, anywhere you've got heavy buildup, you can simply take your pick, and as you can see, it pretty much just comes right off. Also good for getting behind the extractor. If you can see all that falling off right there. And anywhere else you can lightly run. There's the face of your extractor. And if you've got some compressed air, you can use compressed air to blow off the front. Typically, you want to keep this downward. You don't want any particles getting inside your firing pin hole. I'll take a little bit of solvent. Take your patch and wipe down the face. He said Q-tips are your friends. Get a little bit more in there. I take my Q-tips and push them deep into the rail and down. And then just take your rag, wipe the outside of your slide. Again, this is just a basic field strip, not a deep clean. Once you've got your slide taken care of, you can set that off to the side. Grab your barrel back, and let's wipe down the outside. And when you get done, you can also take, if you want, you can run a brush down through there, and you can also put a patch on the end of your rod and run down through there. Some people like to put a little light coat of oil on the inside. And again, just take some Q-tips. Get all your residue off. And once you've got your barrel clean to where you like it, set that to the side and we'll start on the frame. One of the things to show you on the M&P that we take down, little lever right here with the yellow paint, that's your takedown lever for an M&P. When you empty the weapon, make sure it's clear, flip that little lever down with your favorite little tool, and then you can bring the slide back. Again, same way, look to see where residue's at. Q-tips. And you go through a lot of Q-tips. Make Johnson & Johnson happy. Lift up your slide lock a little bit. Clean down in all the little nooks and crannies. Your trigger bar assembly, you'll see where that gets dirty. And then where your rails are, I will take the patch, solvent, rails. Surprisingly not that dirty. Also reach up in your mag well. Get a little bit of dust and dirt down in there. If you've got a brush, you can run up through there on the end of a patch. And you'll get some residue in there. A little bit. And once you've got the main part clean to your liking, next thing we can do is lubricate and reassemble. First part I like to lubricate is the barrel. And the product I like to use is Alpha Sauce by Excellent Labs. They're out of North Carolina. This is an excellent product, excellent lubricity to it, very slick. We use it in competition. And coat the barrel. And I like to run my guns what they call wet. A little more lubricant than most people would use. Set the barrel to the side. Next we're going to use a slide on your rails. Just run a light bead down the inside of the rail. Once you get that, you can drop the barrel back in. And your recoil spring. And on the main frame, you'll see where the parts start to get shiny. Your 4 rails, your 4 points of contact that the gun rides on. And that is it. And reassembly, line it up. Bring it back to your half moon notch. Flip your take lever up. And your gun is back together. You have your takedown lever on the inside, which may still be sitting down. You can take a magazine, insert it into the gun, an empty magazine, put it inside the gun. That'll flip that up, or you can take your tool and flip it up as well. And once you've got that, wipe the outside of the gun down, and basic field strip and cleaning.